Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh.
Great news, right? I'm so happy for the both of you. Your daughter is the most important thing.
All right, folks, today's case is Pollson versus Callender, and it's a roller coaster ride of emotions. We have Rachel Pollson, who's trying to prove that Anthony Callender is the father of her daughter Zoe. But here's the twist. Anthony has some serious doubts. Let's find out why.
She moved out. He shows up with soup and a teddy bear. He asked for one last shebang.
How soon after that do you find out she's pregnant?
It was about a week after she had moved into her apartment.
A week?
I know that doesn't sound right.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It definitely doesn't sound like it was completely over.
We meet Rachel, who looks determined to prove Anthony wrong. She claims that they were in an on-again, off-again relationship, and every argument ends with Anthony denying Zoe. But Rachel is confident that Anthony is Zoe's dad. But surprise, surprise, Anthony isn't buying it.
It's a cheating past, and that is why you are convinced you aren't Zoe's father. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Pollson, what is the current nature of your relationship with the defendant?
We've been on again, off again, Your Honor.
Oh boy, Anthony is not convinced at all. He believes Rachel has a history of cheating, and that's why he questions Zoe's paternity. Talk about trust issues! But Rachel stands her ground and insists that there's no doubt in her mind. This is going to be a tough one.
We had a relationship and we went our separate ways, and I've gotten long-term relationships, and my last long-term relationship, we were having hard times towards the end of it. It was about 9 years, and he hit me up on Facebook, Mr. Callender did, and we just started talking, rekindling our love again, and we started seeing each other again.
Did you know she was in another relationship when you pursued her?
I did.
Rachel comes prepared with some serious evidence. She starts by pointing out the similarities between Zoe and Anthony. From their attitude to their tanned skin, Rachel believes it's undeniable.
So she finally gets out from this relationship with the ex, and a week later, she says to you, I'm pregnant. What are you thinking when she says that, Mr. Callender?
I'm not at the residence with them while she's staying there, so I have no idea what they're doing. I can only go based on what she's telling me. What she's telling me, she's staying in a different room, but I'm not there. How do I know they're not in the same bedroom?
Anthony's face says it all. He's not convinced by Rachel's evidence. He thinks the similarities could just be a coincidence. Anthony takes the stand and drops a bombshell. He reveals that Rachel's ex-boyfriend called her and asked if there's a chance Zoe could be his. Oh, the drama just keeps piling up, but Rachel denies any wrongdoing. This case is getting messier by the minute.
And her birth certificate?
They wouldn't allow me to.
And so then your doubts started spinning.
She was in contact with her ex. He made the question, could it be mine?
Miss Allen, what relationship are you to Mr. Callender?
I'm his mother. This relationship started with a hot mess, squabbling back and forth. I don't want Zoe to hear this may not be my child.
Rachel fights back, claiming that she was only sexually active with Anthony and that her ex is just trying to stir up trouble. She's not holding back, folks, but is she telling the truth? Because based on their two vastly different stories, someone is lying.
When Zoe was born, were you there, Mr. Callender?
Yes, Your Honor.
You participated?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showed up for the birth?
That and mostly every doctor visit.
Every doctor's visit. So even though you were doubtful, you still participated?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anthony really wants Zoe to be his daughter, but he's still skeptical. And who can blame him? The evidence is stacking up against Rachel, but she's not backing down.
Started seeing each other, so
why would he ask that then?
That's another one of the reasons why I have the doubt.
But if you do the math, we were in North Carolina in December, and she was born in September.
Oh, shouldn't he be able to do the math too?
But Miss Pollson, I mean, when another man calls you on your phone to just say, well, let me just ask you this, could she be mine?
Anthony's mom, Karen, takes the stand and she's emotional. She wants Anthony to be Zoe's father, and her love for the baby is evident. It's moments like these that remind us how high the stakes are in these cases. It's not just about DNA, it's about family.
Oh, really?
Yes, he did.
But you declined?
No, of course I declined. I had been over that relationship for a very long time, and I had only been sexually active with Mr. Callender, and he knows that.
I think if he knew that, he wouldn't be here.
It's time for the moment we've all been waiting for, the DNA test results. Will Anthony finally get the answers he's been searching for? Let's find out.
Mr. Callender, you are the father. And I'm so happy I could give you the result all of you so desperately wanted.
Meet Mr. Thomas, who claims he's been petitioning the court system for a DNA test for over a year now. He received a shocking letter from child support, informing him that he'll be paying support for a child he believes may not be his. Yikes! Talk about a bombshell. But hold on tight, because this case is about to take some unexpected turns.
There's cause to grant you a DNA test.
She was still sleeping with this man after Hannah was born. Your Honor, matter of fact,
Is that true, Ms. Zachary?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. We wasn't supposed to get back together, so I was doing me. What's wrong with that?
I've been okay with saying maybe she's mine, maybe she's not, but maybe she's mine.
Now, let's meet Ms. Zachary, who confidently asserts that Mr. Thomas is the father of her daughter, Hannah. She's determined to bring her family back together and believes it's time for Mr. Thomas to step up to the plate. But wait, there's more. She drops a bombshell of her own, claiming that they were on a break during the time of conception.
Father of your daughter, and it's time he step up to the plate and bring your family back together.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Thomas, when did you learn you were going to be put on child support?
2 weeks ago, Your Honor. I went to the mailbox thinking I'm getting a check, and unluckily, I end up getting a paper from child support saying that half my wages is going to be taken.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I don't mean to cut him off, but that is a lie, what he's saying.
Mr. Thomas, on the other hand, isn't buying it. He recalls the moment when Ms. Zachary handed him the doctor's papers, showing that she was between 13 and 15 weeks pregnant. This got him thinking, because during their supposed break, she had mentioned being 3 to 5 weeks pregnant. It seems like Mr. Thomas has some serious doubts about the timeline here.
Towards the end of August, beginning of September, she told me she was, I feel pregnant. And we went to buy like maybe 4 or 5 pregnancy tests that day.
Your Honor, I found out that I was pregnant September 18th, to be exact with you. And I went to that doctor's appointment and I came home, I handed him the papers. This is my results at the doctor. This is my proof of pregnancy.
But hold on, folks. It's not just the timeline that's got Mr. Thomas questioning things. He drops a bombshell of his own, revealing that Ms. Zachary had admitted to sleeping with another man during their break. Talk about adding fuel to the fire. This revelation has Mr. Thomas doubting whether he's the biological father of little Hannah. This case just keeps getting more complicated by the minute.
That right there is your doubt, because as you were in that doctor's office and saw the calculation, and it led you back to the time when you were on a break.
I triple checked, Your Honor. I did it in my head. I got the calendar in my phone. I looked at the doctor
Your Honor,
reads.
we was on
I'm
a
like,
break.
hold on, wait a minute, let me triple check.
We were on a break.
And it led you back to the time when you were on the break.
And it led me back to exact. I'm like, no, Lord, you can't be telling me this is the exact time.
On a break.
Now, let's fast forward to the day of Hannah's birth. Mr. Thomas was present at the hospital and even signed the birth certificate, believing that he was the father. But little did he know that doubt would soon creep into his mind, causing him to question everything.
Any part of anything, I would sign a birth certificate and Hannah would never know a thing. Nobody would never know a thing. This would be the biggest family secret that we ever had. And I had no problem with that. And I had no problem with that because I'm not going to let just someone come in and destroy my family like that, you know? It just don't.
You destroyed your family.
It just don't leave that easy.
He destroyed his family. He destroyed his family from the beginning. You had doubts, and that's why you're here. Because you kept on saying you didn't know if she was yours. And I was honest.
Enter Mr. Thomas's uncle, Pierre Hill, who drops a bombshell of his own. He reveals that Ms. Zachary had shown him pictures of another man, whom she believed to be Hannah's biological father. Wait, what?
I believe there is a reasonable cause to order a DNA test. Jerome, please escort them out.
Hannah is a twin. It was Hannah and Heather. One of our twins, Hannah's was the smaller one. Heather was the big one. She ended up passing away a month after she was born.
And if that wasn't enough, Mr. Thomas stumbles upon a text message on Ms. Zachary's phone with the contact name Hannah's dad. But get this, folks, the number doesn't match Mr. Thomas's number. Cue the gasps. Could this be the smoking gun that proves Mr. Thomas is not Hannah's biological father?
That's like, she's going through like women do. I understand that. I didn't grieve that type of way, you know? She was looking at me like I didn't have any type of sympathy about what was going on.
You're saying he barely even grieved the loss. Do you believe that because he doubted the children?
Like he doubted them from the minute that I told him I was pregnant. Like he's sitting here like I wasn't honest with him.
With all this drama and doubt swirling around, it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. The DNA test results are in. Will Mr. Thomas be proven to be Hannah's father, or will this roller coaster ride take another unexpected turn? Hold on to your seats, folks, because this is about to get real.
Mr. Thomas, you are her father. Your daughter is the most important thing.
All right, let's set the scene. We have Mr. Pierce, who who is questioning the paternity of his 1-year-old son, Julian. He claims that his ex-fiancée, Ms. Covell, deceived him into thinking he was the father, only to confess 6 months later that she had cheated. Talk about a bombshell.
I'm not the girl that he really now believes that I am.
I don't think we can save the relationship.
The stakes are very high.
Every time I look at him, it's a reminder.
I'm sorry. I've said I'm sorry a million times.
You're also requesting a lie detector test.
Go ahead and take the lie detector test.
I want to be able to look at him and see me, not see a question mark.
Now, Ms. Covell admits to cheating, but she still insists that Mr. Pierce is the father. She's here today to prove it once and for all. Let me tell you, folks, the tension in that courtroom is palpable. You could cut it with a knife.
Suing for fraudulent misrepresentation, am I correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Covell, you admit that you cheated around the window of conception, but you still say you have no doubt Mr. Pierce is your child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Covell, how do you feel about being dragged into court today?
I'm a little upset. I want to prove that he's the father. I want to show him that I have been telling the truth. I know I made a mistake, but I've been paying for it every single day since I've told him.
All right, let's hear from Mr. Pierce first. He's feeling betrayed, hurt, and he's questioning everything. Can you blame him? Finding out on your birthday that your fiancé cheated? That's a low blow, folks. A real low blow.
Destroy your family. You've called off your engagement.
Correct. When I found out, I just had to call it off. I mean, there's no sense in really trying to go for a marriage because it's not true.
How do you feel when you hear Mr. Pierce say these things, Ms. Covell?
It really hurts me. I know I made a mistake at one time. We were both going through an emotional roller coaster at that time period. I made a mistake one time. I understand that my son looks nothing like him.
And then we have Ms. Covell, who's remorseful and wants to prove that Mr. Pierce is indeed Julian's father. She's been carrying the guilt of her mistake every single day. Can she convince him that she's telling the truth?
No, let's get it out the air right now. I'm not gonna get mad because we're so in a good place right now. It was like, here's your free pass. She told me, that she had cheated on me back. I can't remember the exact month that she cheated on me, and I lost it. I mean, I started crying. I was very upset, and I asked her, I was like, so was it around the same time? Is it possibly his?
Oh, the emotions are running high in that courtroom. Mr. Pierce is hurt, he's angry, and he's demanding answers. Can you blame him? He's been through this before, and he's not about to let history repeat itself. Can you blame him?
This one thing led to another.
How do we know that's the only time, though? I want a lie detector test.
And the results will be revealed shortly.
That looks completely like a white baby.
So this marriage ultimately is in jeopardy.
Life has turned upside down completely.
I have the lie detector results and the paternity results. In the case of Pierce versus Covell, pertaining to 1-year-old Julian.
Now, let's talk about Julian. This adorable 1-year-old baby boy is caught in the middle of all this drama. It breaks your heart to see how this situation is affecting him. He's innocent, folks. Completely innocent.
In addition to the DNA test you request today, you're also requesting a lie detector test.
Correct, Your Honor.
We have, in fact, administered that test, and the results will be revealed shortly. You have this beautiful baby. When you look at this child, what are you thinking?
Every time I look at him, it kills me.
All right, let's dive into the evidence. Mr. Pierce has brought some baby pictures to compare himself as a baby to Julian. He's desperate to see some resemblance, some connection. Can you blame him? He wants to see himself in his son's eyes.
Pierce. Mr. Pierce, you...
I thought you would be the one girl that wouldn't do that to me. But when it comes to another person's life...
Go ahead and take the lie detector test. It was only a one-time thing.
I want to show you a couple pictures here, Your Honor, that I brought for evidence.
I'd like to see that. Jerome, will you hand it to me,
First
please?
off, this is my baby picture. Then this is Julian's baby picture.
Okay.
Then I've cropped them here together.
Wow, these pictures side by side are something else. You can see the desperation in Mr. Pierce's eyes. He wants so badly for Julian to be his son. You can feel the weight of his doubts, his fears. It's heartbreaking, folks.
You're right, though. He doesn't look like you. He looks identical to me. And
I understand that, and I don't want to take it out on him, but
so
with
Mr.
it not being 100, how can I not?
This is a picture of...
That was me at about 6 months old.
All right, so we're looking at you at about 6 months.
Correct.
And then now...
You can see the complexion, the dark hair, I mean...
But wait, there's more. Ms. Covell also took a lie detector test. Can you believe it? The drama just keeps coming. Will the results reveal any more secrets? Will they bring some clarity to this tangled web of emotions?
Every time I look at him, I don't see me.
So now, what's your relationship been like since all of this has transpired?
It's not there. It's just been going downhill ever since this has happened. We bicker and fight all the time, and just now it's
And so
just
this
went all
marriage
down.
ultimately is in jeopardy because of this situation.
Correct.
All right, folks, the moment we've all been waiting for. The DNA test results are in. Will Mr. Pierce finally get the answers he's been searching for? Will Julian be his son? The suspense is suffocating, so let's find out.
Mr. Pierce, you are Julian's father.
Yes!
Great news, right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're so welcome.
All right, folks, hold on to your seats because we're about to witness a case that starts with cheating allegations but takes a surprising turn towards paternity doubts. Talk about a twist! Get ready for the drama as we delve into the case of Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
His mother won.
One time.
Don't mean you ain't a father.
Her mom. That is how many
I might have 7 kids by 7 different women. I never had a paternity test done on none of them.
We have 3 different results today.
Mr. Jones, a 48-year-old man, had been dreaming of becoming a father for as long as he can remember. But when he found out about his wife, turned into a night. Sorry, buddy.
Why?
Well, Your Honor, I ain't getting no younger.
Now, here's where things get interesting, folks. Mrs. Jones admits to cheating on her husband, but she insists that their 4-year-old daughter, Mary, is indeed his biological child. Can you imagine the tension in their household? It's like living in a soap opera.
And my mama's not up here because she got 8 kids. I think he's coming into his 6th and he's catching. All of a sudden you got morality. You want to see, you hoping that some of these kids are not yours so you won't feel bad about not being there.
But wait, there's more. Mr. Jones has his doubts. He even submitted a chart to the court, meticulously outlining why he believes he's not the father. That's some serious detective work, folks. This case is shaping up to be a real-life mystery.
It's a shame that it's only 3 of us up here, but you got the case of morality, and I want to know. He should have had everybody up. 8, 7. He should have had everybody up here. You know, why did it just have to be us 3?
We have 2 other adults that are here that claim that they may be his children as well. We have Mr. Edwin, who's 29, and he's never met you. But he may be your son.
He may be my son, yeah.
Now, hold on to your hats, because we're about to reveal the biggest shocker of all. There's a whopping 25-year age difference between Mr. and Mrs. Jones. Can you believe it? Love knows no boundaries, folks.
Friend who she's also married to. But see, her stepfather is a very nice man. They sent her to Texas, and I brought her down there to Georgia to meet her black family because she didn't know she black. And then when I took the girl down there, he only spent 2 hours with us. My grandmother had to chew him out to come see us because he was about to haul
So,
Taylor
Mr. Jones, is this true? You didn't take any time to spend with
2 hours.
Children? You haven't even met Mr. Edwin. What is that about?
All right, let's hear from the couple themselves. Mr. Jones confesses to having doubts, while Mrs. Jones remains adamant that Marie is his daughter. Oh, the tension is so a knife.
Daughters of their mothers are related. First cousins.
That's right.
Okay, and that's disgusting. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, I didn't know
2
they
of
were
his
cousins.
kids up there, their mothers are related.
All right, before we get to all that, I want to bring Mr.
But hold on, folks. Bombshell of her own claims that she felt a miraculous moment when Mr. Jones's sperm went inside her, spreading out like a spider web. That's one vivid imagination, folks.
And it has turned into a nightmare for your potential children.
In my eyes, you ain't man enough to even be a father.
What was your relationship with her mom?
We was gonna get married. She got with my coworker and started dating him.
That is not the story I was told.
When it comes to the paternity of 37-year-old Ms. LaToya Jones.
To get to the bottom of this paternity mystery, the court calls upon Dr. Jamila Gator, a fertility and paternity expert. She's here to reveal the results of Mr. Jones's sperm analysis. Get ready for the truth, people.
You were only with his mother once.
One time.
Don't mean you ain't a father.
I might be the father. That's why I'm here. I need some closure on this, man. I ain't trying to deny y'all. I still in because I want to stop and try to play house. You know, and I never.
Wait a minute. You said you're pursuing your dream, and it has turned into a nightmare for your potential children.
Dr. Gator drops a bombshell. Apparently, Mr. Jones's sperm count is shockingly low, with only 3 motile sperm seen under the microscope. Talk about searching for a needle in a haystack. Will this be the end of the road for Mr. Jones's hopes of being a father?
As a
Never.
father, regardless if you have a test or not, you got to make sure your little dude who knows where he comes from. You know,
right.
he knows where you come from. He knows.
Without your father.
Oh, life was tough. You know, I was raised in a village, predominantly Native Americans, Alaskan Natives. Being half black and Native in a village, no other black kids around. You know, I was never Native.
The tension in the courtroom is unbearable as Mr. Jones grapples with the devastating news. But folks, let's take a moment to appreciate his dedication to Taimari. Despite his doubts, he's been there for her since day one. Now that's true love.
I didn't realize I had another father other than my stepdad who raised me since, I was a baby. The way that I actually found out was I was playing with, some cousins.
All right, it's time for the moment of truth. Drum roll, please. The court reveals the DNA results, and the atmosphere is electric. Will Mr. Jones's dreams be shattered, or will he finally get the confirmation he's been waiting for? Let's find out, folks.
Mr. Jones, you are.
I respect what you say.
It comes to the paternity of 24-year-old Ms. Molly Hobson. Mr. Jones, you are her father.
It's very hard to tell if Ms. Spruell and Mr. Dixon had a beautiful relationship, or if it was just a friends with benefits kind of thing. Ms. Spruell was furious that she had to come to court to prove that Mr. Dixon was the father of her 13-month-old child, when she knew for a fact that there was no other person who could be tagged as the father of the child.
Ms. Spruell, you are furious that you had to file a paternity case against the defendant, Mr. Dixon, due to his denial of your daughter, Skya. You say you know the exact night you conceived, and he is her father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Dixon, you claim that your relationship with Ms. Spruell was purely sexual, and one conversation that occurred is that her child is not yours. Is that correct?
Mr. Dixon started by listing and explaining his doubts about why the child could definitely not be his. He brought in an exhibit to paint a vivid picture of the doubts that had been stored up in his head. He sure wasn't here to joke around because he was ready to fight Ms. Spruell to the end.
So she goes around showing pictures and, excited about it, showing to her coworkers, her bosses and everything, except for one particular coworker comes out of the blue and was like, whoa, wait a minute, pause. No, that's not his baby, that's my brother's baby. Like, whoa, wait a minute, why would this girl come out of the blue and claims that this is her brother's baby just like this? So I have my doubts that this is my child.
Mr. Dixon had proof to back up his claim. Apparently, Ms. Spruell wasn't being a faithful partner during their relationship. He said she had 2 different phones she used for 2 different purposes. The first phone was to post everything about herself on Facebook, and the other phone was to talk to other men whom she happened to be intimate with. Well, at least so he claimed.
Kamaya has 2 phones. She had one phone that she used to be on the internet and she posts her whole entire life on Facebook. She has another phone where she texts and calls. She plays like she's 2 people on Facebook.
He has that number. He's not allowed to have my main number. We have no communication because, like I said,
he's not allowed to have your main number, and he's the father of your child.
We're gonna go to why he can't have my main number.
Now, Mr. Dixon had time to defend himself since he claimed he wasn't the father of the child. It was Ms. Spruell's turn to speak up, and she had some truths to let out of her chest. Mr. Dixon was not loyal at all. While he claimed to be away for work purposes, he got himself another baby with a different woman.
It wasn't even 7 months. Mr. Dixon had a whole nother child. While he was still with me. He was still with me.
So what was he doing in Alabama? Not
making babies. Yeah, he was doing in some work. He put in a lot of work.
Mr. Dixon.
And not only that, once he gets down to Alabama, my daughter was all over his Facebook. Cover photo and all. The same child you've been denying.
How can you claim a baby when the baby first came into the world, only to then turn your back and deny its existence? Ms. Spruell was furious because when she initially gave birth to the child, Mr. Dixon claimed the child and was present from the time of birth. When his other baby mama found out about the child, he stopped showing care and started to deny the baby.
He was there my entire pregnancy. He was. He is the one who told me I was pregnant. He said I was pregnant because he's throwing up everywhere. He said I was pregnant.
Because he was throwing up.
He was throwing up.
Your Honor, let me tell you about that, Your Honor, about that. I had a hangover. We got drunk one night and I had a hangover and I threw up at 5, 6 o'clock that morning.
So why did you tell me to find out when I was pregnant?
Before she gave birth to the baby, everyone thought she was lying about being pregnant. Apparently, Mr. Dixon had been selling a different story to those around him. Moving on, everyone found out she was pregnant and Mr. Dixon had some explaining to do since he was the one who had been spreading the lies.
Everybody found out that I was pregnant. Everybody knew I was pregnant by then. Because at first, they were saying I was lying about being pregnant because Mr. Dixon kept telling them I wasn't. Even though he went to the
All she do is lie. You don't know what to
believe.
believe.
You went with me. How did I lie?
You don't know what to believe.
So did you go with me to the appointment? Did you? Was you there when they said I was pregnant?
No, I wasn't there when they
Oh, you wasn't
came
there?
back with the results.
Oh, and didn't they tell you to come to the back? So we didn't go to the back and talk to that nice lady.
I was never there.
Mr. Dixon made attempts to be present in the child's life, but Ms. Spruell was not very welcoming. He approached her with the idea of wanting to change the baby's name to his, but she didn't agree. She was too upset that he hadn't been around for so long, so she wasn't going to let him put his name on the birth certificate.
As well as being willing to execute the birth certificate, why not be cooperative supportive instead of combative?
Because the day we were supposed to go get it changed, Mr. Dixon ran right back off to Alabama.
Lies.
Oh,
We
you
had
did?
plenty of time. I didn't leave.
You
I
weren't
didn't
there
leave
for
till-
a week. You was there the first week of her life, Mr. Dixon.
I didn't leave back to Alabama till a month later. We had plenty of time to change his name. I done talked to Cawley every day. Let's go get this baby name changed. I got the money. Let's go. Let's go.
The courtroom had seen enough of Mr. Dixon and Ms. Spruell's drama about who the biological father of the baby was. It was finally time to reveal the truth and put an end to the endless argument they both didn't want to stop.
Mr. Dixon, you are the father. You are her father.
Thank you.
You feel relieved, Miss Spruell?
I do.
How do you feel, Mr. Dixon?
I'm excited. I have a beautiful baby girl. I'm gonna be the best father I can, and I'm just glad the truth is out.
You could see it in his eyes, trust me. Mr. Carroll wanted nothing more for the child to be his. He was in court to prove to his ex-girlfriend that he was the biological father of her 26-year-old daughter. Even though the defendant denied his claim several times, he just refused to accept that he wasn't the father. It all started like this.
Mr. Carroll, you are here to prove to your ex-girlfriend, Ms. Goggans, that you are the biological father of her 26-year-old daughter, Shirletha Carroll.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say when your daughter was 5 years old, the defendant told you another man was her father, but you refused to believe it.
Yes, Your Honor.
You saw it for yourself. He wants her to be his daughter so bad. Throughout the years, Mr. Carroll never had any doubts about being her father, even when the defendant told him several times that he wasn't the father. But Ms. Goggans claimed she had a one-night stand, and she believes that he is the father of her daughter.
Jesse, we were basically broken up, and then I end up going to her father saying that I needed someone to talk to, so me and him end up having sex, and I knew that it was
the one-night stand,
the hairdresser, and he said that I told him 5 years later, which it wasn't 5 years later, because when I was pregnant with her.
If he was hoping to convince Ms. Goggans about being the father, he definitely failed at that. Her mind was fixed on the fact that he was not and could not be the father of her child. Mr. Carroll recalled their relationship being shaky at the time, and throughout their time together, Ms. Goggans never told him she wasn't his child.
First of all, me and Tina at that time was still in a relationship. It was just shaky. Lily was 5 years old, and she came over my mother's house, and she told me that she had something to tell me. And then she told Lily would go off. She's 5, so she trying to go off or whatever. She was like, "No, Lily, I want Lily to hear this." You know, when she told me Lily was not my daughter, Lily was standing right there, because I will never forget the face that she had.
Moving on, Ms. Goggans remembered the period when she gave birth to her daughter. Mr. Carroll was in the hospital, and he cut the cord. But the moment he saw the baby, he asked Ms. Goggans whose child it was because she was too light-skinned. From that moment on, Ms. Goggans decided that the baby could not be his.
Every room with me, you seen her and you said, "Wow, whose baby is this? She's so white." I knew from there that who Shirletha belonged to.
No.
After I left the hospital with Shirletha, I said, "Shirletha is not your child. You never wanted to listen to me saying that it wasn't your child."
Who's on the birth certificate?
I received the birth certificate. I seen Jesse's name.
Wow, he signed his name on the birth certificate without her knowing? How desperately does he want to be the baby's father? Anyway, Ms. Goggans told the judge that on so many occasions, she told him that the baby was not his, but he just wouldn't listen. He even gave the child his own nickname.
That's why I'm here today, to show people that Lily is.
She doesn't look like you. She looks just like her dad.
Look, she got my name on that birth certificate. That's my name. She got my name.
You put it on there without my consent.
I gave Lily that name, Lily. That nickname, I done that. Lily was my daughter. That's my nickname. That Shirletha is my family. That's her name from my family.
But it didn't come from you.
It's my people in my family,
No, it's not.
The back and forth between Mr. Carroll and Ms. Goggans was getting too much, so the judge decided to ask the daughter in question if she had ever felt the presence of Mr. Carroll in her childhood. Here's the reply she gave to the judge.
Your Honor, yes, I have, but to be honest, Jesse hasn't been in my life. You know, I'm just going off of pictures. You know, basically, pictures, he was there. He was with me as the father, with me and my sister. He was in the home as a family. But as time went on, I was with the other guy, which I have proof right here. I was with his family.
Well, that complicates the whole situation. At least she told the truth. Ms. Goggans wasn't the only one who believed that he wasn't the father. Mr. Carroll's wife also believed that her husband was not the biological father, and she couldn't understand why he couldn't let go.
Ms. Goggans told him, she told him years ago that she was not his daughter. And the only way I would know, because I came into the situation after the 5-year period, somewhere in there, which was I never would say anything like that to Shalithia.
But
why?
she did.
Because I
She
have
did.
my own children.
She
I'm
did.
the one brought us here today because I think she should know.
Now that's one plot twist I didn't see coming. If he isn't the father of your child, why send him a letter thanking him for accepting the child? Something doesn't sound right. Anyways, Judge Lake heard enough of their testimony, so she determined that DNA was vehement in this paternity conflict. Here are the results.
Mr. Carroll, you are her father.
My baby.
I know it. I'm trying to. Oh my God! I told you, girl. I told you. You tell the truth. Sorry. It's so sorry.
Sometimes, you can only imagine what goes through the minds of some parents to make them make certain decisions. Mr. Harrison was suing the defendant for paternity fraud because he claimed he signed the birth certificate for their child under false pretenses. He also believed the defendant was never faithful throughout their relationship. He opened his case like this.
Mr. Harrison, you are suing the defendant, Ms. Grant, for paternity fraud. You've also petitioned the court to remove your name from the acknowledgement of paternity document for 4-year-old Aaliyah Harrison because you claim you signed it under false pretenses.
Yes, Your Honor.
He couldn't hide his anger at all. He claimed that the man she had an affair with was a friend she had known for over 15 years. Mr. Harrison and baby mama had been together for 8 years, and throughout that period, she was intimate with the other man.
She had this affair with this person for 15 years. I've only been with her for 8. So this goes way before we were ever even together in the first place. So after 8 years with her and a previous child before the one in question, we've already had a child together. So she has been cheating on me literally the entire 8-year span that we were together, including the time of our first child.
So, baby daddy was actually right about the affair going on for a long time. As she could recall, she had known the other man since she was 18 years old. She claimed he helped her with little things like taking care of her first child and sorting out the bills. And on some days, they would kick it in bed, even while she was in a relationship with Mr. Harrison.
Person was a friend of mine. I had met this person when I was 18 years old. I was a single parent of a 2-year-old daughter at the time. He helped me with her. He helped me financially. He has bought cars. He has paid rent. He has paid bills. Okay, when I met Mr. Harrison and I told my friend, I'm in love and we're gonna have a baby.
Baby mama sure knows how to keep a secret, all right. I mean, how do you have a sexual relationship with a friend for 15 years and still maintain a romantic relationship with your boyfriend for 8 years? That takes some real nerve. But in her defense, she claims she was sleeping with the other guy when she conceived her baby.
But I didn't lie about the paternity. I lied about whether or not I was seeing somebody, but like I said, the person wasn't even in our area at the time.
So you're saying you were not sleeping with this person?
Not at that time, no.
During the time Aaliyah was conceived?
But how am I supposed to ever believe that after an entire 8-year relationship? Aaliyah's only 4 now.
There you have it, baby. Mama has some serious nerve to say something like that after cheating throughout the relationship. Well, guess what? Baby, daddy wasn't a saint either. He also stepped out of the relationship and kicked it in bed with another woman. But all that didn't matter to him. He was just tired of baby mama's lies.
I tried. And it wasn't, I love her and I love my kids so much, you know, that I was willing to bend over backwards and forgive her for all of her misdeeds. All of them.
What about all your misdeeds?
Every single
Don't sit
one
there
of
and
them.
act like you haven't cheated on me.
I'm not saying that.
He cheated on me with someone who is, he's an indie pro wrestler. He cheated on me with someone who they call ring rats.
Even though she had been cheating all this while with the other man, she believed deep in her heart that Mr. Harrison was the father of her child. They dive into the argument of the window of conception, and it turns into an all-out war. Here's how it played out.
What day was Aaliyah born?
Her birthday is September 15th of 2010.
September 15th, 2010. If her birthday's September 15th, the dates of conception would be somewhere between December 19th to December 27th.
Yes, ma'am. Her birthday is September 15th.
You say this is a blizzard. This is how you know it could not be the other man's child, is because this man doesn't like the cold.
Well, that didn't end nicely. After all the yelling, baby mama changed her story and started to say that all she wanted to do was try to fix her relationship relationship with Mr. Harrison. She admits that what she did was wrong, but she loves Mr. Harrison and hopes they can make it work. Is that even possible after cheating for 8 years?
Right now telling me that I ought to be ashamed of myself for even being here to prove to this man who I am in love with at this very moment, even though he is accusing me of not knowing who the father of my child is, that I ought to be ashamed of myself for wanting to come in front of you and prove to him and the rest of the world that yes, I've done wrong, but I'm willing to admit that and I'm willing to right those wrongs for my children.
Miss Grant, as you stand there and I see how emotional you are when you speak.
Yes, ma'am.
I, for one, don't think they can find their way back after all the lies, but who am I to judge? Anyway, there's no need to try to delay the inevitable. The results are sitting pretty with the judge, and it's time to unveil who the father of the child is.
Mr. Harrison, you are her father.
I told you.
I'm happy.
Good. How do you feel, Miss Grant?
I feel vindicated, Your Honor. Absolutely. I may have lied about my affair, but I know who the father of my child is.
As far as frustration goes, Mr. Portis had taken enough from his ex-girlfriend. He was in court with his mother to free himself from the accusations that he was the father of his ex-girlfriend's child. He claimed she ruined his life and is not trying to pin the baby on him, even though he's been paying child support.
Mr. Portis, you and your mother have petitioned the court for a DNA test because you are certain you are not the father of the defendant's daughter, Ava.
Correct.
You say your life has been ruined and need today's paternity results to set the record straight. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Isn't he one angry guy? Paying child support for a child you believe is not yours can drive you crazy. Even he couldn't deny that it was kind of his fault. If he had shown up in court, he might have been able to save himself from all the trouble. Anyway, here's where the plot twist to their story thickened.
Last year, Ms. Middlebrooks didn't show up.
No.
Right, because I prefer to do this outside of this. Why do we have to come here for him to finally do it?
I went to get swabbed. I did the whole thing that I was supposed to do, but she didn't do it.
Why couldn't we do it outside of here?
So tell me about the nature of your relationship with Mr. Portis. Were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
We started talking first and then eventually started dating.
As if that wasn't enough to bring down the roof of the courtroom, Ms. Middlebrooks had another boyfriend while she was messing with Mr. Portis. And when he found out, he wasn't going to stick around to find out if he was the father of the child.
After she got pregnant, a letter she sent them.
Wait a minute.
I sent the guy a letter telling him that I was pregnant, letting him know what was going on.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is exactly why young people don't have no business making babies. You can't even tell the story to make no sense. Right. Miss Middlebrooks, what was your relationship with this other guy?
We were dating.
When?
Before.
Basically, Ms. Middlebrooks was bouncing from man to man, and when she found out she was pregnant, she decided to tell the other guy about the pregnancy through a letter. Mr. Portis, on the other hand, didn't believe her when she reached out to him and said she was pregnant.
When I found out I was pregnant, I called him. He was distant after I found out.
When was there a relationship? I mean, when were they?
Did I have intercourse with you? Were I with you? No, I didn't think so. Well, nobody talking to you.
So I'm talking to you.
Well, I ain't talking to you.
Hold on, ladies.
I mean, if he didn't believe her about the pregnancy, there was no way he was going to show up for the doctor's appointments and the child's birth. Now, this is where things start to sound mysterious. Mr. Portis wasn't present at the birth, but her ex, whom she told she was pregnant through a letter, was present all the way.
Who was with you at the birth?
My ex was. He stepped up.
Oh, wait.
But she wasn't messing with the ex, though.
Yeah. When I had her, yes, he was there.
So he was away, and then by the time you had the baby, he was home.
Yes.
And he was at the hospital.
Yes.
But you gave
my son an opportunity. And you say he stepped up.
Yes.
What?
But
your son wanted nothing to do with me or the pregnancy.
And all that.
You do not know. You're not your son. I'm not communicating with you. I'm communicating with your son.
Could the situation be any worse in the courtroom? All this while baby mama had been getting child support from Mr. Portis and her ex-boyfriend. At this point, they need to lock her ass in jail, but that was just the beginning of the revelations. There were more secrets, and they popped out like this.
At the time, the only person I knew was the ex.
No, I didn't ask that. That's not what I asked. Who did she say the father was?
She said the ex.
Okay, I already knew that.
Son.
I said the ex.
But I thought it was my son all along.
No, hold on.
Now you really
Hold on.
like that?
I could tell
tell by the way you were telling that story that you were trying to be evasive about something.
But
looks like Ms. Middlebrooks has been the deceiver all this while. She allowed her ex-boyfriend to play the daddy figure role in her child's life and never allowed Mr. Portis to visit the child. At this point, you can't blame Mr. Portis for choosing to stay away. Her lies and deception have gone to another level.
You let your ex raise the baby? Ava's too. Is he like he was at the hospital? You let him raise her?
Yes.
Mr. Portis, I want to understand from your vantage point what's happening. She's pregnant. The ex is there. You're just thinking the ex is the child's father. Do you have any contact? Are you calling to check in? What is your relationship at that point? You just completely moved on?
We weren't talking. She told me to.
Oh well, baby daddy's mom sure doesn't like Ms. Middlebrooks. The sad thing about this case was even if baby daddy ended up not being the father of the child, there was a high chance he would continue to pay child support, and that just wasn't on his agenda.
I was in training for management, and I didn't know that, like, you know what I'm saying, if I was to miss court, it was going to be this big of a situation.
Oh, yes.
Now I know.
Yes.
But I was inexperienced with all this stuff that was going on at the time.
This is exactly why I tell people you making babies, you got to understand the system.
Yeah, correct.
So we're here now. With all of this drama, there's still a very real possibility you're Ava's father.
Yes.
It was evident that both parties were at daggers drawn, and no one was ready to drop their allegations. Secrets were being revealed in court one after another, but nothing was helping them reveal the truth that was needed. So Judge Lake pulled the strings and decided to announce the result.
Mr. Portis, you are the father. I told you. You are Ava's father.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That is your beautiful little girl.
Appreciate it.
What do you feel, Miss Middlebrooks? Can you tell me?
She knows. Now she knows.
And that's a relief for you.
That's a relief.
The smirk on her face, Ms. Stovall appeared in court with the aim of trying to win the love of her life back. For Ms. Stovall, the results from the case meant everything, and if they did not come out in her favor, she would be beyond devastated. She opened her case by saying this.
Ms. Stovall, you say nothing could mean more to you than today's paternity results. You are desperate to prove to Mr. Hines that he fathered your 4-month-old son, Robert, with the hopes you can win him back and one day get married. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hines, you claim you once loved Miss Stovall, but believe her baby was fathered by another man, and therefore you can't be with her.
Ms. Stovall must really be looking forward to a happy ever after with the defendant, Mr. Hines. For both of them to be in paternity court, somebody must have messed up big time. Judge Lauren asked Mr. Hines why he had doubts about the child in question, and this was his reply.
Yes, I have doubts because although I do have a lot of love for Miss Stovall and I've given a lot to her, sacrificed a lot for her, there's just so much things that she has done that has created a lot of doubts and a lot of discrepancies of if this really is and truly my son.
Let's talk about how this got started. At one point you were happy.
Yes.
You notice any red flags? I wonder what those flags could be. Anyway, Judge Lauren then asked him to explain what kind of red flags he saw when he claimed to have gone through her phone. I must confess, they were some serious red flags, all right.
Where was that, in her phone?
It was in her Facebook messages.
Oh.
We were just getting serious, and I was never gonna do those things.
In your relationship with Mr. Hines, you were completely faithful?
Yes.
You were? And Mr. Hines, you don't believe that's true?
I have my strong doubts about it being true because there are just overwhelming piles of instances.
Was she having an affair with someone else? I mean, why would you disappear on someone you claim to love for days? Ms. Stovall has got to be hiding something. Judge Lauren then asked Mr. Hines if he had any other evidence that could back up his claim. What he said next was mind-blowing.
Yes, when she gets mad and when she gets frustrated, she sends me pictures with other guys. She sends me text messages questioning the paternity saying, I can't believe you're trying to take him and you don't even know if he's yours, which would immediately—
Wait a minute, Ms. Stovall, you sent him pictures of you with other men?
Well, they were friends of mine, but we were never, it was never sexual between me and those friends that I sent him pictures of,
but
ever.
I can't know that for sure.
Now, why would Mrs. Stovall do something like that? That's just going too far if you ask me. Trying to defend herself, Mrs. Stovall claimed that during the period she sent him those pictures, she was just very mad with him and never slept with any of the guys in the picture. But the evidence told a different story.
Like that to me.
No, I was upset when I sent those pictures, but it didn't mean
What
that.
is this neck photo of?
I don't know what that's about.
That's just an example of the type of picture she'll send me.
Did you send him that picture, Ms. Stovall?
No, Your Honor.
Is that you in the picture?
That's me.
How did he get the picture?
Probably off my Facebook.
So what is the last photo?
This photo.
What? Is that your behind, Ms. Stovall?
The fact that she was laughing at the picture just says it all. She clearly doesn't feel sorry for taking those pictures. As you would expect, Judge Lauren was not going to see something like that and not call her out on her behavior. Judge Lauren spoke to her saying this.
Okay, but do you understand then how these types of photographs along with your behavior has created a level of doubt for him?
Yes.
Do you take that seriously?
I do.
Do you think she takes the relationship seriously, Mr. Hines?
For me, in all honesty, with all the love I do have for her, I really don't feel like she takes a relationship as serious as she says with her words.
Wow. Mr. Hines must really love her to still want to be in the relationship. Now, the pictures were not the only piece of evidence Mr. Hines brought to the court. He claimed that when he had a conversation with his mom, she told him that the way Ms. Stovall got pregnant just didn't add up.
And Ms. Stovall got into something in early June. She was living with me and my mother and my stepfather at the time because we all had an apartment together. She was living there. I came back from work and I asked my mother, where is Ms. Stovall? She said, oh, she went out with a friend and she hasn't been back since such and such time.
Mr. Hines might be onto something judging from the explanation he just gave. After all that yapping about, Judge Lauren asked Mr. Hines who he thought the father of the child was, since he claimed he couldn't be the father. He claimed the baby belonged to one of her friends, whom she was always talking to on Facebook.
Who do you think the father is?
One of her friends on Facebook that's always talking to her.
I've never been intimate with that friend ever, Your Honor.
It can fool.
How do you know which specific person she's talking about?
I know because he's in constant communication. He has said things to her.
Your Honor, I can't stop what men say to me.
You can establish a...
At least she didn't lie about how she felt. She might not like Mr. Hines, but she also believes he is the father of the child. We've seen enough of Ms. Stovall and Mr. Hines' drama in the courtroom. Now, let's see what verdict Judge Lauren is going to give with the DNA results.
Mr. Hines, you are the father.
Told.
How's it feel, Mr. Hines?
This is my first son. And I had to hold back all my emotions until I knew.
I'm not going to lie to you, this was a very funny case. Ms. McKenzie was present in the courtroom to prove that the defendant, Mr. Guy, was the father of her child. She claimed that the reason he was denying her child was because he already had too many kids. The case started with Ms. McKenzie saying,
Ms. McKenzie, you say Mr. Guy abandoned you and your daughter, Anaya, soon after she was born, and denies he's her father only because he already has too many kids.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Guy, you say you knew this wasn't your child from the moment Ms. McKenzie said she was pregnant. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. McKenzie, when did you first realize that he denied he was your daughter's father?
Well, when I told him that I was pregnant.
Hold on, did she just say she was going to school with some of his kids? She can't be serious. To make things even worse, Ms. McKenzie was way younger than Mr. Guy. Even the judge could not hide her disappointment when she found out their ages.
You went to school with some of his kids?
With one of his kids. We was in college together with one of his kids. And then like when I asked him...
how old are you?
I'm 28.
And how old are you, Mr. Guy?
45.
Oh boy. Okay, so when did you realize he was denying your child? That he said this is not my child?
Well, after I had her, he was at the hospital and everything. When he brought us home, he just like basically set her on the floor in her car seat. He was like, I gotta go run an errand, and he never came back. So
damn, she had to use her friend's phone to call him. That is just unbelievable from Mr. Guy. Judge Lauren had to turn to Mr. Guy and ask him if he was actually ignoring Ms. McKenzie because of the child. Guess what? He did not deny the accusation.
Intimate relationship with her. Why are you saying it's someone else's child?
Because the instances that I catch her telling lies. Like one time, me and my brother pulled up. She was sitting in the car with somebody, and they was there for a while because we was sitting up there watching them. So
what were they doing in the car?
I thought they was having sex.
Really?
Can I say something? That night that he's talking about, I called him and he told me to come over to his house. When I got there, he was not there.
Oh, now he can't recall saying that? Mr. Guy sure knows how to lie. Here's where things get really intense. Mr. Guy kept telling the judge that there was no way he could be the father of the child, even though they never used a condom. Judge Lauren then asked why he was so certain, and this was the answer he gave.
With her, why are you saying it's someone else's child?
Because the instances that I catch her telling lies. Like one time, me and my brother pulled up. She was sitting in the car with somebody, and they was there for a while because we was sitting up there watching them. So
what were they doing in the car?
I thought they was having sex.
Really?
Can I say something? That night that he's talking about, I called him and he told me to come over to his house. When I got there, he was not there.
Enough with the lies already, Mr. Guy. Everyone in the courtroom already knows he isn't telling the truth. Judge Lauren had to ask him if he had any other reason to doubt the baby's paternity, and he went on to drop a heavy truth bomb in the courtroom.
I mean, it was just like we was messing around. We was steady messing around.
All right. What is your doubt? What else, Guy?
One time I was getting off of work. They let me off work at maybe like 6 a.m. and I usually get off at 7. So I pulls up to the house and I looked at my phone, then looked back up and there was a dude standing right there. I'm like, where did he come from?
Was there really a guy in the house, or is Mr. Guy just trying to paint Ms. McKenzie as the bad guy in his story? Oh well, I guess we'll find out. Ms. McKenzie had her mom in the courtroom as a witness. The judge asked her what she knew about the messy situation, and believe me, she had quite a lot to say.
I'm really upset at Mr. Guy because he denying my granddaughter. She really don't even know who he is, and I'm upset with him. And I did live with them for a while, and he goes to the club. He might not even come in for 2 or 3 days.
2 or 3 days?
Yes.
What's with all these disappearing acts, Mr. Guy?
I was stressed.
You were stressed?
Yeah, she stressed me.
You could hear it in her voice. She was hurt by the way Mr. Guy was threatening her and her child. Every single reason Mr. Guy gave to the judge, as his doubts about being the father, just didn't make any sense. So the judge had to ask him one more time if he had any actual evidence, and he decided to present an exhibit.
As you see right here, Your Honor, 7:45, this is the actual schedule they be having. 7:45 a.m., that's when classes begin. And 4:55 p.m., that's when classes end, the last class.
So the last class is at 4:55?
Yes.
And you say she didn't get home till midnight?
She didn't get home till midnight.
So where are you? Class don't last that long?
Your Honor, I have no idea.
Well, that explains why she had to be away at odd times. But that explanation did not convince Mr. Guy one bit, and it just made Ms. McKenzie burst into tears. She felt bad and stupid that she had to pick a man like Mr. Guy to have a child with.
Why do you think there are a lot of possibilities?
Everything she's saying is inconsistent. Because like I said, I was there.
You was not there.
But
no birthdays, no Christmases, nothing.
He hasn't spent Christmas or
Nothing.
birthday?
She don't know who he is.
She doesn't acknowledge him?
He comes to our city where we live, and I have to call him and say, do you want your kids here? Yeah, I come and get them. He never showed up. He came and got them for Thanksgiving.
How does it make you feel that Anaya's 3 years old and has absolutely no relationship with her father?
It angers me.
There were just too many reasons to see that Mr. Guy had been lying all this while. Ms. McKenzie had the birth certificate of her baby. Guess who signed the slot as the father? None other than Mr. Guy himself. When asked if he did, he claimed it was forged.
Are you on the birth certificate?
I don't remember signing the birth certificate.
He's
I think
on
she
our
signed
birth
it.
certificate.
I
You're
think
lying.
she signed it because
in the state of Michigan, when you get ready to sign that birth certificate, they hand me your ID. You can't sign nothing
Jerome,
without
let me
him
see
being
this
there.
evidence.
I don't remember signing
He
the birth
signed it.
certificate.
He know he did. He even said after I had my baby in an hour, no drugs or nothing. He was there when I had my baby. He drove me to the hospital. He took 35 minutes to get me there.
I'm sure we've had enough of Mr. Guy's lies and Ms. McKenzie's inability to pick a reasonable man to be with. Anyway, the results are in, and the judge is ready to give her verdict as to who the father of the child is.
Mr. Guy, you are her father. Now what, Mr. Guy? Speak.
I feel pretty much ashamed. I would like to be a father to her.
So what are you gonna do? Where are we gonna go from here?
Gotta first start by making up time
Yes.
with her, my daughter.
Yes.
And
When's the last time you saw her?
In this episode of Paternity Court, Ms. Winter, the plaintiff, had been together for 6 good years. The relationship, however, took a nosedive when the defendant, Mr. Cawley, started to have doubts about the paternity of their son. Mr. Cawley claimed she had been unfaithful throughout the relationship, and the case began like this.
Ms. Winters, you say that you and Mr. Cawley have been together for 6 years, but now his paternity denial of your son Amani has put your relationship in jeopardy. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cawley, you claim that throughout your relationship, Ms. Winters has been unfaithful, and say when today's results prove you are not Amani's father, the relationship is over. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, wow. That's enough reason to have doubts about the paternity of the child, trust me. As you would expect, Judge Lauren was not going to let something like that slip away. She asked Mr. Cawley to explain further what he meant when he said he caught her with another man.
Mr. Cawley, tell me what happened. You said you caught her in the bed with somebody else.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, I was away and The moment I got home, I was ready to just flop in the bed. I had been away for a minute, and I turned the corner and I see both of them laying in the bed, and the guy was asleep, and she was laying there.
I wasn't dressed. We were dressed.
You had your clothes on, you said, but you were in the bed with a guy.
Yes. Well, he was a family friend.
So she actually did sleep with the guy. I wonder what else she could have done to make Mr. Cawley doubt he is the father of her child. Well, you're about to find out because Judge Lauren asked him if she did other things, and this was his response.
I admitted at the time I was talking to other guys and stuff, but like I said at the time, a couple months before that, I had just found out he was with some girl. I just can't prove he cheated, and he won't be man enough to tell me he cheated, so I just kind of strung away from the relationship.
Because I didn't cheat.
So wait a minute. You all have all this going on, and Mr. Cawley, you're saying because of all of this, you have doubt concerning Amani's paternity.
Yes, Your Honor.
If he had to get a lie detector test done, you can bet Ms. Winter had been telling a lot of lies. Moving on, Mr. Cawley and Ms. Winter told the judge that the problems in their relationship started when they started living together. After that, things were never the same again.
Because, we started getting more serious, we had more problems. And
Yes, as soon as we got our first place, that's exactly when we started going downhill.
Why?
Because
there was too much responsibility for him.
There was no.
She said it was too much responsibility for you, Mr. Cawley.
I'm a young man. I have no kids. Helping her take care of her 2 kids.
Oh, so when you moved in together, Ms. Winters had 2 other children.
2 other children.
If these two make it out of this courtroom as a couple, it would be one hell of a miracle. Now, Ms. Winter claimed that there was a period in their relationship when she found out that Mr. Cawley was not faithful, and that caused them to take a break. When they got back together, this happened.
Girl he was actually caught talking with. When I found out he worked with her, I was like, don't talk to her. And then next thing I know, I'm finding out he's at her house, giving her rides. So, at that point, I was ready to break up with him.
And so after this incident, you all decided to break up?
We did for maybe a week or 2.
But at some point, you come up pregnant.
Yeah, well, we ended up getting back together at the end of 2013, and we pretty much were like, look.
Wow, she was pregnant with his child and was still messing with the other guy? Ms. Winter needs some scolding, trust me. One thing was certain though, their relationship was a mess, and Mr. Cawley just could not trust anything that came out of Ms. Winter's mouth.
Walking in the house, seeing her in the bed with somebody else, all of these things have fueled your doubt.
Yes, Your Honor.
And now your relationship is it's on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Your Honor.
We just don't trust each other.
And there's a beautiful 16-month-old baby in the middle of it. And you don't know for certain if it's your biological child.
No, Your Honor, I don't know.
She cheated and still has an I don't care attitude? One could honestly believe she doesn't care about his feelings at all. Anyway, the results of the lie detector test were in, and the judge read them out like this.
On the day Michael found a man in your bed, did you have sex with him? You said no. The lie detector determined you were being truthful. You were asked, have you had sexual intercourse with anyone other than Michael since the end of 2013? You said no. The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
I bet she was not expecting the judge to slam that in her face. Without wasting any more time, the judge decided it was time to reveal the DNA results and determine if everything Ms. Winter said was a lie.
Mr. Cawley, you are the father.
So that right there should prove to him I wasn't cheating, around the time.
Well, it doesn't really prove that, Miss Winters. But it does prove that Amani is his biological child, and it relieves the doubt.
Right.
The arguing, the not knowing, we have to get this together.
The squabble that went on within this family should have been aired as a series on Netflix because it was just so chaotic. Miss Chandler and Mr. Hilliard were suing Mr. Hilliard's sister and mother for defamation of character. Does that even make sense to you? Because it sure doesn't to me. The case began like this.
Miss Chandler, you and your boyfriend, Mr. Hilliard, are suing his sister and mother for defamation of character. You claim they are spreading malicious rumors regarding the paternity of your son, Brandon Jr. You are seeking the results of a paternity test to prove that your baby is indeed Mr. Hilliard's son. You are asking the court for damages in the amount of $500. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
There was no time to waste right here. It was a war front with everyone getting ready to empty their clips. Ms. Jackson, who happened to be Mr. Hilliard's sister, started by dropping some heavy bombshells in the courtroom. Looks like Miss Chandler is no saint at all.
I have got to ask the defendant in this situation, what do you know about Miss Chandler?
Annie has always gone to the racetrack and
She talks to guys on Facebook, texting guys, and she has a lock on her cell phone to where my brother can't see her phone. She's cheated on my brother. He stayed at my house with his kids.
Now, what proof do you have of that?
She's admitted it to me.
No, I have not.
Ms. Chandler cut her short and dove in like a blazing volcano. She wasn't in the mood to let her boyfriend's sister mess her name up in court, and so she began. She was firm on Ms. Jackson having no business in their relationship, and from that point on, things started to escalate really badly.
I know,
we were talking, and it was after me and Brandon broke up that I started talking to him, and yes, I slept with him one time.
But Brandon still
while we were broken up, so that should not even be brought up.
Well, Brandon still was thinking that you guys were getting back together.
You should not be talking about me sleeping around.
What I do with my life is my business.
3 babies, 3 baby daddies.
Ms. Jackson then started to throw shades at Ms. Chandler again, stating how she kept having different affairs with different men while her brother was away. The question everyone kept asking was, how does she know so much?
A guy that she lived next door to, she started dating him when my brother went to California with his 6 son.
He broke up with me, and I dated him for 3 days.
You seem really into what's going on with them.
It's my little brother.
What's it to you, really? I mean, he is his own man. He might have made his own choices.
It's my brother. You know, she's from day one. I've seen that she's used him. She holds those kids over his head all the time.
Oh, trust me. It was not just a war zone in the courtroom. It felt like the roofs of the building could no longer contain the heat of the drama that was going on. In my mind, I'm like, are these guys really a family? Do they ever stop fighting? It was insane, trust me.
They've kept your grandchildren from you too?
Yes, I do.
I have always asked you to come over and see your grandkids. You said those aren't my grandkids.
I haven't told you that.
Okay, that's why you called him a punk. You told me that he'd never be a part of you, even if this test comes back that it's your grandson, right?
I never said that.
You and Gina. Gina. Yeah.
No, I told you.
The rants just keep coming and coming and coming. These guys are yelling in the courtroom like they're in a football stadium. Ms. Chandler then tells the judge the secret as to why the sister and mother don't want her in the family. All this is just because they're jealous?
Their problem is I took him away from them. I was a woman and I took care of my man.
That's so not my problem. You can have Brandon.
I took care of him.
You can.
He did not need them no more.
Let me clarify. You are his sister, right?
Right.
Okay, I want to understand from you. Why is it so bad that your brother is dating Miss Chandler? What is it?
Because I'm a real woman.
Now, the things your ears are about to hear will leave your whole body in shock. These guys didn't care where they were. They were ready to drag each other until no one was left standing. I mean, if they could do this in a courtroom, how toxic is their home?
We can't even go a day without arguing about them. I cannot be with them and be a part of them. They have hurt me way too much.
I want you to look at me and tell me right now.
No, you ain't.
Why do you think they dislike you so much?
Because I'm a woman and I took care of him. I took him away from them, is how they see
What,
it.
are you his mommy too?
Well, their chaotic journey finally came to a close, and everyone in the courtroom couldn't wait for them to take their leave. Let's see whether the daddy gets to hear those 4 words or not.
Mr. Hilliard, your wait is over. You are the father.
Thank you. No apologize. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Come on. No, apologize. You too, Kathy. That's your grandson that you've been denying for 4 years. That's your baby.
Yeah, now I want to see my baby.
Mrs. Kelso here insists that she is just 22 years old when she in fact looks 40. But her age isn't the dispute she wants this court to settle. Instead, she has brought 2 men to court to figure out which one is her baby's child. One of the men, she says, could be her child's father. Jamal Davis says he is certainly not the baby's father because he has seen Miss Kelso with at least 10 other men. And here is how it all began.
Kelso, you are in court today to prove that Mr. Davis is the father of your 9-month-old baby, Connor Kelso.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim Mr. Davis has done nothing for your son, so you're suing for half the child rearing expenses in the sum of $2,561. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, that seems like an easy maths question that we can figure out. Ms. Kelso has a calendar which she says proves that all of this happened during the window of conception, and her calendar does prove it. But what does Mr. Davis have to say about that?
Mr. Davis, does this look familiar? Were you with Miss Kelso on January the 7th?
As far as that particular date, I'm not for sure. I was definitely with her during that time frame, though. Yes, Your Honor.
You were?
Yes.
So, Ms. Kelso, you admit that you were also with another man?
Yes, Your Honor. It was Mr. Hafner.
Without protection?
Yes, Your Honor.
Unfortunately, it is not so straightforward because Ms. Kelso was also intimate with another man during that time frame, but there is another line of evidence here. Mr. Davis is black, and this other potential father is white, and the baby's skin is getting darker, according to Ms. Kelso. Here is how she puts it.
When the child came late, did you ever think to yourself, maybe it's Mr. Hafner's child, not Mr. Davis?
I just go by the conception date, and by the way that my son looks, I see it in his skin color. The more I see his skin get darker, but that could also be Mr. Hafner's family because they're half Puerto Rican and they have dark children in their family as well.
Well, he certainly is away from you now, isn't he? So Ms. Kelso said he should stay away, and now she is crying in court that he actually stayed away. Talk about instant karma. And since then, Ms. Kelso has spent over $2,000 on raising the child. How much has Mr. Davis contributed to that? Can you guess? Because it is a lot of money. Okay, just kidding. It is just $10. But he has a very good reason for that.
Kelso, you say that he hasn't contributed at all to the child-rearing expenses you've incurred thus far.
No, he has not. And I have put together a little draft of the expenses that I have had to purchase, things that I've had to buy for my son since
I'd like to see those. Did you bring the receipts for those purchases?
No, I did not.
How much did they cost?
They were very low cost, and I mean, some of them were dollars. I mean, no more than $10 for all of them.
Wait, hold up. Wait a second. Ms. Kelso says she stopped being promiscuous when she met Mr. Hafner, but she actually cheated on Mr. Hafner with Mr. Davis. So she clearly did not stop being promiscuous. But she has a really good excuse for doing that too, if you can believe it.
That was the exact date.
Exact date. That's the day I met him. That's the day that I started sleeping with him, and that's the day that I started dating him, the day I met his family. They're all here present today. And the only reason that Mr. Davis is in the picture is because I had been cheated on by Mr. Hafner, and so I cheated back with Mr. Davis.
Well, having revenge with your genitals is precisely the sort of thing that gets you here in front of all these people. And Mr. Davis talks a lot about Miss Kelso being promiscuous, but he still sleeps with her without protection. Isn't that insane? Well, you probably will not believe this, but he also has a good excuse for that too.
That's all I was interested in.
And were you using protection all these
No,
times?
we weren't, because she told me that she was medically unable to have children. And in the 4 months that we were together, she never so much as had a scare with her. And we met, I can count with one hand. I don't even need all 5 fingers on how many times we've used condoms. And all of a sudden she's pregnant.
Are you
and all
proud
of a sudden
of this?
I'm the father. No.
This does not even make any sense. Pregnancy is not the only reason why you should not wet hump without protection. There are like a trillion STDs that you could get infected with. Anyway, let us hear from the other man, Mr. Hafner.
Mr. Hafner, thank you for joining us today. I have to ask you, do you think baby Connor is your child?
That's what I think.
You do?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so, have you done anything for Connor thus far? Have you helped in raising him?
Yes, Your Honor. I have been feeding him, being there for him, showing him I love him.
Yeah, maybe. And I'm going out on a limb here. Maybe that is because they are only a few days old in that picture. Anyway, you get the sense that Mr. Davis wants to get out of being responsible for this kid in literally any way he can. Let us see if the DNA test result will grant him his wish.
Mr. Hafner, you are not the father. Mr. Davis, you are the father. Do you need to sit down, Miss Kelso? You need to sit down. Okay.
Ms. Sanders says you should never deny a pretty baby even if the baby isn't yours. She says that another man signed her baby's birth certificate, but she is now claiming that Mr. Brady here is actually the real father, not the poor guy who signed the birth certificate in the first place. The question now is, if Ms. Sanders could lie to that man, how do we know she is not lying now? Well, we are about to find out.
Miss Sanders, you admit to having another man sign your 6-month-old son Caleb's birth certificate, but now say that Caleb's real biological father is the defendant, Mr. Jamarvis Brady.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that Mr. Brady is your son's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Exactly. The baby could be pretty and still not belong to Mr. Brady. It is insane that Ms. Sanders here thinks that is a good enough reason for Mr. Brady to take care of Caleb. Let us pick Mr. Brady's mind for a moment. Why does he doubt this beautiful child is his?
Does he visit the baby?
I came through the neighborhood one day,
the reason why I
and he
don't visit.
asked me if he could see my baby.
Why would I take care of a baby that's not mine? Why would I visit a baby that's not mine?
Look how pretty my baby is. How can you deny
not a pretty baby.
I don't care about the baby being pretty. I care about if the baby mine or not. I take care of my responsibility, not another man.
That is a valid question. Green eyes don't just come out of nowhere, but maybe there are green eyes in Miss Sanders' family. And that is exactly the argument that Miss Sanders makes. She says green eyes ain't bigger in her part of town.
Starting with my grandparents, my grandma don't have green eyes. My granddaddy don't got green eyes. My mama or my daddy. Her either, obviously. Me, I definitely don't have green eyes. I'm trying to figure out where these green eyes come from that's on this baby.
Maybe Miss Sanders has green eyes.
How many times have women told the potential fathers of their kids to get lost, only to turn up on paternity court asking Judge Lauren to get those men to take responsibility? So many times. But Ms. Sanders says she has a good reason for doing that.
Because I didn't want to be with him no more. So he got mad because I got back with my ex. He said he don't want me, but he constantly texts my phone, somebody so what's up?
I come to the house, dudes coming and going all the time. Like I left her house.
How you gonna tell me that dude's coming and going, but you not?
I left her house and the dude came through, the same dude who she was texting.
How
you gonna get came through while I was pulling out.
This back and forth is tiring. Mr. Brady says that he was there for the pregnancy. Miss Sanders says he is nothing but a dirty liar and that he was never there despite the pregnancy being so difficult. But Mr. Brady says that he did not care because he thought the child wasn't his. And he has a really dumb excuse.
Mr. Brady, I gotta ask you, she's going through a lot here. Why weren't you there?
Your Honor, when I tried to take care of him and all that, she told me she didn't need my help. And plus, why would I take care of a baby that's not possibly mine?
When I was pregnant, he never even cared. Only thing he cared about was some shoes. When I first told him that I was pregnant, I called Mr. Brady and I told him, I said, I'm pregnant, I want to let you know. He just sat on the phone.
Well, that is true, but you should have also thought about that before having unprotected intercourse with someone who can't even take care of himself. But more on that part about an ex signing the birth certificate.
But he says you had another man sign the birth certificate.
Yes, my ex-boyfriend, before me and Jamaris got together, I was with someone. And to get back at my ex-boyfriend, me and Jamaris started talking. So after me and him stopped talking, I got back with my ex. And my ex, he was real understanding. He was just saying, you know, we just gonna work through this. We gonna, you know, to have this baby, we gonna do what we have to do. And he was the one who was actually there when I had my baby.
Phew, this is a lot. So the other man has been tested, and Ms. Sanders says Mr. Brady is the only other option. Well, that means that he has to be the father, right? Well, let us see what the DNA test has to say about all of this. Is Mr. Brady the father, or is there someone else who could be the father?
Mr. Brady, you are not.
I told her that wasn't my baby, Your Honor.
Sit down.
I told her.
Sit down over there.
Come in front of this post.
Stand right where you're standing.
I told her, Your Honor. I knew it wasn't mine. 100% positive.
Miss Sanders, he said he was positive.
So who the other possibilities?
I really don't understand.
So it's not your ex's, it's not his.
It was no one else. It was no one else.
Had to be.
Miss Janelle Craig has claimed 3 different men to be the fathers of her adult child, Chanel Craig. Today, Miss Chanel wants to know if the man she called father her entire life is actually her real biological father. The father in question, Tracy Thompson, also believed he was the real father, but now a shocking revelation has changed his mind. Let us listen to Miss Chanel.
Miss Janelle Craig, you are Miss Craig's mother. You admit to sleeping with more than one man at the time your daughter was conceived, yet you argue you don't understand why she's still looking for answers.
Right, correct.
Now, Mr. Thompson, you say you always assumed you were Miss Craig's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
But then you claim a startling revelation caused you to question paternity.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, Ms. Janelle has a great explanation for this disconnect. She says that that man was her ex-boyfriend, and the man Chanel got introduced to later on is her real father. And here is how Miss Janelle even told Mr. Thompson that they had a baby together.
I saw him and his wife in a tavern, and I walked up to him and say, "Hey, baby daddy, we have a child together," and they're looking at me like I'm crazy.
Him and his wife were just at a tavern?
Yes, and I walked up, say, "Hey, baby daddy." He's like, "No, I don't have any kids." So I'm like, "Yeah, we have a 10-year-old child together."
Yeah, Judge Lauren. Miss Janelle literally had no option but to drop that bomb like that. What did you expect her to do? Use some tact? Really? Tact is for losers, and Miss Janelle here does not lose. Let us see what Mr. Thompson thought about that approach anyway.
So how did you find out that
I remember
Chanel...
seeing Chanel when Chanel was a baby. She was a small little baby. She was 1, but I came out of prison. She was a little baby, and I came by her grandmama's house. Her mother wasn't there.
And You're lying. You never told me that. And I don't even believe you went to my mama's house.
The fact that this is even being debated is insane. Someone here is a really crazy liar. and Judge Lauren has to figure out who that is immediately. In fact, Mr. Thompson has a totally different recollection of how he got back into Chanel's life.
How did you get back into her life?
Chanel auntie had gave me a call and told me that Chanel needed me and told me that her mother was gone away and she needed me badly. And she asked me if I can come back and get into her life.
Okay.
And that's what I did.
And so even though you had doubts when you saw her when she was a child, when you got this call from her aunt that she needed you, you came back again.
Correct.
Wow. So Mr. Thompson left after all that. And then he came back when Chanel was around 15. But Chanel just was not having that. And they could not build a relationship. Of course, this somehow caused an argument between Ms. Janelle and Mr. Thompson, and it went like this.
But he wasn't around that long. He came back when I was about to turn 17, 2 months before my birthday.
Things wasn't going too well with her and the relationship they was having because Janelle
That's
was...
mother and daughter, but how do you come in from being gone 7 years and say, oh, you can come live in my house? Again, she don't know you.
Wait, what does Janelle mean she raised Chanel? Because this kid was in foster care for long stretches of her life. Anyway, Mr. Thompson still never believed that Chanel was his child because her birth certificate had a different name. So this was so confusing for Chanel.
When I got back in touch with him, his girlfriend and her kids was telling me that he was saying that he didn't think I was his.
Because somebody else's name was on her birth certificate. That's why I didn't believe it.
I told you that when I first met you. Back up again.
Chanel told me that when she turned 16.
I sat
she showed me her birth certificate because she needed an ID, a state ID.
Yeah, you objectively didn't do that, Ms. Janelle. The state helped you raise your child and you did a bit of the work, but not all by yourself. But if Mr. Thompson met Janelle as a virgin, why does he even have any doubts in the first place?
In this relationship, you said she was a virgin.
Correct.
So why is it you have doubts if you're Chanel's father if you thought she was a virgin when you were...
Look how it come to me. It came to me as in, like, this is your baby. I ain't never seen her pregnant. I've been gone.
Whoa. Mr. Thompson really doesn't want to fight that battle again. That's probably why he is very hesitant to acknowledge Chanel as his without the blood test. Well, let's see what the truth actually is. Is Chanel Mr. Thompson's baby, or does the child belong to another man?
Miss Craig, Mr. Thompson is not your father.
Sorry, Neil. You give me hugs. I'm your mom and dad. Don't matter. I'm still your daddy. I love you. I'm sorry.
So I can tell you wanted to just hear that he was your father to have that closure.
Yeah, because he's the only man that's in my baby life right now.
Ms. Webster had to go to church to pray to God to reveal who her real father is. She had grown up thinking that her real father was Mr. Smith, but now she has reason to believe that it could be another man, Mr. Ware. Both men are in court today, and we are going to get to the bottom of this case with or without God's intervention. So let us get started with Ms. Webster herself.
I heard a relative say that that's not none of your father. So I started questioning. I asked my mom, I talked to Mr. Smith, like, why are they saying that I'm not a part of their family?
When you questioned Mr. Smith, what did he say?
He said, you will always be my daughter. I believe in my heart that you are, and no matter what, you'll always be my daughter.
Wow. And it doesn't end there. Ms. Webster says that relatives of Mr. Ware even signed on her birth book and brought presents. That means they at least suspected that Mr. Ware could be the father of Ms. Webster. But Mr. Ware says that he was always told that Miss Webster was another man's baby, and he basically took her word for it. And Mr. Ware got no information about the child either, and then they lost contact. And here is how Mr. Ware said it.
A couple of years after that, I went into the military.
Okay. And when you came back, no one said to you, you may have a child?
No one said that to me, and the mom had moved back to Ohio, so I never saw her for years.
Were you there when her mom was pregnant?
Yes, I was there when her mom was pregnant. As a matter of fact, we continued to date at that point.
Wow. Anyway, Ms. Webster then started searching for Mr. Ware after realizing that he could be her father. She went to his church and then poured out her heart to God to help her reveal if he was truly her father or not. And then this happened.
All right, so let's fast forward to the day you finally get to meet Mr. Ware.
We went to visit him at his church. I've just been praying, you know, that I find out who my father is. There's things in my life, there's roadblocks and stumbles I've been going through. There's things that goals I'm achieving, and knowing who my father is one of them. And I came to the Lord. I went to the
altar. They had altar call. And I went up and I just prayed that God give me a sign to reveal.
Whoa, that could be a miracle. But despite Ms. Webster's faith, that is not actually evidence that Mr. Ware is her father. In fact, it is not evidence of anything, and any court would throw that testimony out. But Ms. Webster says that Mr. Ware has to feel it too, because he is a deacon and a spiritual person. But Mr. Ware insists that he knew nothing about it.
When I was down, no, I didn't know who was standing there when I got up. You know, I get up and I turn around and he's right there. So, I mean, something, it's gotta be some energy, it's gotta be something. It can't be in vain. You are a deacon, right?
Yes, I am.
And he's a spiritual person.
Did you know it was her? Did you know it was Miss Webster, this baby?
I did not.
That you knew before she even left the womb? Did you know?
No, I did not know at that time.
So Ms. Webster feels a connection, but Mr. Ware feels absolutely nothing. Wow, that is cold. And then Mr. Ware drops a line that makes everyone in the courtroom shiver. He looks Ms. Webster right in the eyes and says this.
So you did not feel a connection like this could be my daughter? The way in which she says your mother reacted when she met her and said, what took you so long?
No, Your Honor, I did not. The fact of the matter is that you are not my child. I love you like a child.
That must be so painful for Ms. Webster, but you can tell that there is no malice in his voice. He just truly believes that Ms. Webster is not his child, and that is that about that. Now, let us hear from Mr. Smith, who basically raised Ms. Webster. What does he have to say about all of this?
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Smith. As you know, we're here discussing the paternity as it relates to Miss Webster. You have been paying child support.
Yes, I have.
But you don't believe you're her biological father.
No, I don't. I can tell you why.
Please.
Miss Webster was born September the 17th, which means that she had to be conceived either late December or January of 76 or late December of 75. I was in the United States Army, stationed in Fort Hood, Texas.
Wow. So how did he end up paying child support? Well, Mr. Smith said he just did it because he was raised to do the right thing and because he was also naive. That is insane. Thankfully, Ms. Webster's mom is also in court today, and here is her side of this insane story.
Mr. Smith also came home on leave. Once we got together, Mr. Smith went back to the service, and then I was pregnant. When Mr. Smith called me one day, I said, you know what? I'm pregnant.
I've never received that call, Your Honor.
Yes, you did.
When I come home from the military, I got a letter in the mail stating that I had to come down to the child support. When I got there, Miss Webster was like, Miss Brady was there.
That is a lot. So who is really telling the truth? Ms. Brady here says she has no doubts that Mr. Smith is her baby's father. She is positive and certain that the father is Mr. Smith. Well, let us see who the father really is. The DNA test result is the only way to clear up this entire story.
Mr. Smith, you are not her father. Are you surprised?
Hurt? Yes. Surprised? No.
I thank you for everything that you've done for me.
Always, baby.
I appreciate you. And like you said.
Always. Always, sweetie.
You just told me you were sure.
I thought I was sure. I thought I really had it in my heart that Mr. Smith was her dad.
Mrs. Brogden slept with the brother of her potential baby daddy. And now that the baby daddy is deceased, poor Mrs. Brogden wants his family to step up and take care of her daughter. But that family is saying, uh-oh, we aren't doing that till we get a blood test. And that's why they are in court today. Let us begin.
I don't think that's my brother's baby. I don't.
Why?
Tamisha, first of all, slept with two of my brothers. So that's what left me like, I can't trust anything she says, honestly. I mean.
She slept with
two of my brothers.
Two of them?
Two of my brothers.
And that's true, Ms. Brogden?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you're in court saying that just Tyrell is your daughter's father.
Yes.
If you slept with the other brother too,
yes.
Could he potentially be the child's father too?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, so that happened. She slept with two brothers, and there's a possibility that either of them could be the father. I mean, with all of this going on, one can say that Ms. Brogden was really put in the family way. When asked why she decided to reach out after a full year, seeing that baby Quamira is 1 year old, here is what Ms. Brogden had to say.
She only sees them when it's time for gatherings and stuff about Tyrell. It's hard. My baby had a seizure. She been sick. I've been going through everything with her. I have 5 kids, and she's my 5th one, and I'm struggling. Didn't have a job since I have her. Like, I have no help at all.
And this is really difficult for you to raise her alone.
Yes.
One would think that if you had 4 kids at 25 with no job and no financial support, you'd stop. Tyrrell's sister insists that the baby does not belong to Tyrrell or any of her brothers, in fact. She goes on to add that Ms. Brogden needs to move on away from their family to find her daughter's real father.
You were in a relationship with Tyrell?
Yes.
You were?
Mm-hmm.
Explain to me the nature of that relationship.
Me and Tyrell, we were together for like 3 years. like close to the end, Tyrell started cheating. He started staying out. He started doing all this type of stuff. It was one night, Tyrell lied and said he was at the police district. I went to the police district to check to see if he was there. He wasn't there. I went to his grandmother's house where he said he was there. He was not there.
What an absolute joke. So, she'd been in a relationship with the deceased for 3 years. However, one night he's not available and he's unresponsive to her calls. Then, she happens to have some alcohol and decides to sleep with his own brother simply because he was available. What was the brother even thinking?
How do you end up dating one guy, you're dating this guy, and then you sleep with his brother?
Because you're mad. Because you're
Just
mad.
for the anger?
Yes.
And so you did it to get back at him?
I've been through a whole lot with Tyrell out of the 3 years. It was not just him lying and staying the night out. No, it's more than that.
Ms. Sugden, you're saying you've heard personally that she was sleeping with 2 brothers around the same time.
Ms. Sugden says that Ms. Brogden tore their family apart, as Tyrell and Paul kept at each other's throats until the end. Now Paul is living with guilt, knowing that he slept with his deceased brother's girlfriend, and he was so upset about getting a paternity test done. What a guy.
She called me and said she had the baby. Tiara was at my house. I said, Tiara, she had the baby, wanna go? Oh, what I'm going to the hospital for? Right then and there, y'all could've got a DNA test done on that day.
Why didn't Mish call? Why is she going through you all the time? She's a grown woman.
You're right. Why did she go through me? But
y'all
going through you about every single
Y'all
thing.
hate me.
But you're a grown woman. If you want somebody to help you with
true.
your child, you be a woman about it.
Looks like Deanna and Ms. Brogden may be quite close, considering that she came to court as her witness. Deanna told Tyrell's sister about the baby, and she absolutely refused to come to the hospital and get a paternity test done. There's another witness in court today, Tiara Jones, the second sister of Tyrell. Oh, the things she has to say.
What do you know about this firsthand?
I was told not only from Ms. Chambers, but another mutual friend that she had her other's baby daddy. Last name was Jones. And originally, Quamira was named after him and not Tyrell Jones. So it's just a coincidence that both of their last name is Jones, but at first I heard that he was there.
Wait, there's another Jones in the picture? Well, okay, Ms. Brogden. It looks like this woman has been working overtime to get her baby that last name. After all of the bickering from the women in court, we finally get the verdict, and this time it comes with a little twist.
First part of this testing is to determine whether or not either brother has fathered your child. The second level, if we make that determination, will be to determine which brother, in fact, fathered your child.
Now, everyone's on their toes, and it feels as though the tension in court can be cut through with a knife. It's time to figure out who the father of this baby is, and that's why we have the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Miss Christina Jones is related to Quamira Jones. Mr. Paul Jones is not the father.
I'm sorry.
Which means
I'm sorry.
Tyrell Jones is Quamira's biological father.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Moore insists that Ms. Matthews here was having an affair when he was sleeping with her, and as a result, he is certain he isn't her baby's father. Ms. Matthews says that excuse just won't fly, and that Mr. Moore has to step up. Well, both are in court today, and here's how their case starts.
Furthermore, you're asking the court to award you $285 in damages for a broken car window, which you say Ms. Matthews destroyed in a jealous rage.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, what a woman. Mr. Moore has been very intentional about avoiding contact with baby Zanya until he is certain that he's the baby daddy. When asked about the nature of their relationship, this is what he had to say.
For Neat, in the beginning, we were cool. When I met her, she was a party girl, all the way up to date.
Okay, so then you started a sexual relationship.
Yep.
Were you ever in a committed relationship?
Absolutely. She told me that she was pregnant, but she waited 4 months to do it. Keep in mind, we stayed using condoms all the time, 24/7.
No.
We stayed using condoms, unless I was just out of it one night.
Mr. Moore claims that she did not tell him he was pregnant until she was about 4 months gone. That's about halfway through the pregnancy. However, she insisted that she was having complications with her pregnancy.
We can stop playing victim, though.
So I didn't show you the papers?
I got these papers.
Papers of what?
Her
Your Honor?
uploading pictures with the guy who was presumably, he could be the dad.
Okay, Jerome, let me see that evidence Mr. Moore is presenting. So let me understand this. You say this is Ms. Matthews kissing another man.
Yeah.
During the time that you thought you were together.
Yep.
In her defense, there's more to this story. She was trying to reach him him over the phone one day and he was available. Next thing she knew, he posted an incriminating picture of himself with another woman. This led her to do something so alarming, it shocked the entire court.
What picture did you post? And the reason I did bust the window out is because I was calling his phone about this picture.
This is
calling
a
his
window,
phone,
so it's okay to bust a window out.
And they're answering the phone, hanging up, playing, oh, B word, you're mad, woo-doo-woo. So yes, I was pregnant and I went to his house.
Your Honor, exhibit number 2.
It was a brick by the tire and I broke your back window.
Okay.
She completely shattered the rearview window of his car. That is not okay under any circumstances. Ms. Matthews used her being pregnant and really angry as an excuse. Oh, but what this man served right back in return. You will not see this coming.
When I put the picture on Instagram, he came to my job, bust a window. He had to get escorted by Cleveland police. He almost got me fired. I was suspended for 3 weeks with no pay with your child, and you didn't help and do nothing.
Your Honor, she left out the part about her being with her ex, though.
Woo! Oh, so it was a mutual thing. Looks like these two are in the wrong court right now. Paternity court is filled with terrorists and little vandals today, it'll seem. Mr. Moore brought in his niece as a witness. She had a lot to say.
She's got guys coming in and out.
My best friend lives directly
Please look at my daughter.
from Mrs. Matthews. And
Do
there
y'all see
will
him
be
stepping the
guys
glass?
coming in and out the house.
No.
We'll be sitting on the porch and there'll be guys coming in and outside the house and Zanaya will just be sitting on the porch with her nose snotty and hungry.
Really?
And then every
What?
time she comes over, she has the same clothes on. Like, my uncle is giving her money
Oh my
and
God.
like, what are you
Can
doing
you
with
please
it? You're
just
not
look at my
spending it on
daughter,
your
Your
daughter.
Honor? Do it look like she has a snotty nose and dirty clothes?
Finally, the results are in, and just as dramatic as the entire case the court is presented with today, you can be sure that the results are dramatic as well.
Mr. Moore, you are not her father.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking. I'm done. I'm done. It's over with.
I told you. I mean, I'm not shocked.
I got my whole life ahead of me. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I wish you the best.
My baby gonna be fine. I'll take care of my baby by
I
myself.
wish you the best.
Ms. McDaniels and Mr. Wells suffered an abominable tragedy. 6 months ago, they lost Anthony Wells, their 3-year-old son. After the tragic loss, the grief hit their home hard. To make matters worse, Mr. Wells has been doubting the paternity of their 2 kids, aged 2 and 11 months. He accused Ms. McDaniels of infidelity on very funny grounds.
Now, I'm grieving too, we both lost a son, but it's just the rumors and everything that I can't deal with it no more.
How long have you been hearing rumors?
I've heard them since the first one was born, the one we lost.
So since you all basically got together and started having children, you've heard rumors that your wife is with someone else.
Yes, that my kids belong to somebody else.
And who told you that?
My ex.
Oh, as a man married for so many years and has been with her for so much longer, he's still listening to his ex and no other additional source tells him that his wife is not faithful? Ms. McDaniels should be the one worried here, if anything.
She was like that, Megan is the thought of the place where they work at.
But this is your wife she's talking about.
Yes, yes.
So she just decides she's gonna call you out the blue and tell you your wife is a thought.
I mean, well, not out the blue, but she heard that she was pregnant. So she was like, I just want to let you know that might not be your baby.
Oh, so she was warning you.
Yeah.
And so when she told you this, did you have reason to believe or to suspect?
At first I didn't, no.
The only thing it'll seem Mr. Wells has against Ms. McDaniels is that she had an unpleasant encounter with a man in a club years ago, before they got married, sounding like a broken record, just like all the men that have ever been in paternity court. He also believes that he does not look like the children.
All of my kids, they all favor me in some way,
He has told my daughter, I'm not your daddy, go find your daddy.
What?
I did not say that.
Mr. Wells.
I did not say it. It's his skin tone. He got ginger hair and he's too light. He is too light.
Well, I mean,
now,
his mother is white now.
I mean,
but Your Honor, he calls him white boy. That's not acceptable.
He calls him what?
White boy, and that's not acceptable.
Well, that is some interesting way to address babies. He went on to say that little Daryl is too light-skinned with ginger curly hair and he, the supposed father, does not have those attributes. Like all of that is not comical enough, he brought this to court to further prove his point.
It's just the way my head is built with like a roller coaster. It has a lump in the middle. Most of my kids, they have it. All of them. As you can see, mine is the same way. As for little Daryl, his head is more flat and his hair is ginger, like a reddish hair. I've never had that in my family.
So you have a roller coaster head.
Yes.
That's what you call it.
Yes.
Because there's a dip in it.
Interesting words from a pretty interesting guy. Alongside these 2 children, Mr. Wells also has 5 more kids from other women in between these 2 who all have roller coaster heads. Isn't that something? After all of this, the results are revealed.
Mr. Wells, you are the father. You look relieved.
I am very relieved, very relieved.
18-month-old Daryl Wells. Mr. Wells, you are the father.
Ms. McKini is probably the worst woman to ever appear on paternity court, and that's saying a lot. Her husband found a sex tape of her and another man, but she still insists that her child, Amira, belongs to him. Now, what are the odds of that being true? Let's find out.
You testify that his paternity denial is tearing you apart. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown, you say there is no way you are Amira's biological father after finding a sex tape of your wife with another man. You now intend to prove he fathered Amira. We'll meet that man in a moment.
Oh, how spicy is that? Amidst all of the doubt, even though all the odds are against her, it's a respectable thing that Ms. McKini is being very honest with the court today. It looked really difficult to do so, but she gathered her thoughts and had this to say in court.
And I can see that you are really hurting right now. I can see the tears. What are you feeling, Miss McKini? Oh my goodness, she's just gorgeous. What are you feeling?
I just hope that he's the father of Amira Brown.
Hope that he is?
Yes.
So are you saying that you really don't know, but you truly hope?
Yes.
Mr. Brown does not seem at all moved by this. He stands his ground, saying that he still does not believe he is the father of baby Amira. When she was born, she never looked like him. He gave it time too, but each day, he looks at her, takes pictures of, and with her. More and more, it still does not seem like she is his daughter.
She has his face, and it bothers me a lot.
So you feel Amira looks like the man you saw on the sex tape with your wife?
Yes, I do. More and more every day, I see Amira's face and his face, and it bothers me a lot. And not only that, she looks like more than one person than just him. People in his family she looks like.
It's wild enough that his wife has a sex tape with another man. He found it himself. Even worse, he keeps seeing the man's face in his 11-month-old daughter. Now he's saying there's more men, and Ms. McKini is not denying it. Well, dang. This man has not been having a good time these past few months. This was how he found out about the tape.
One day, the girls, they like snatching her phone. So they grabbed her phone before they could even get into the video. I grabbed it and it pressed play. And I seen the beginning of the video and I didn't see what I liked, so I just disclosed it. I didn't watch the whole video.
The video came up, or you went looking to see what was in her phone?
They were scrolling through her pictures, whatever. And before they could even get to it, I grabbed the phone.
Oh, because you knew it was something inappropriate.
Yeah, it didn't look right. It didn't look right. It looked like a video, so.
Now it's bad that she cheated on her husband. Ms. McKini didn't just do that. She recorded herself doing it too. Afterwards, she saved the video and casually had it sitting around in her phone. What a woman. Talk about really breaking the bias. This woman is shattering every dimension of evil there is.
How do you end up with another man doing a sex tape?
I mean, at the time, me and Mr. Brown was off and on.
How did you meet the other man?
I met him on a dating website. We started talking online, and then I finally met him in person, and he came to my house.
So how often were you sexually active with this man?
10 times.
And now, Mr. Brown, you believe this man is the father of Amira.
Yes, Your Honor.
I think we need to meet that man.
I think so too, Judge Lake. She took the words right out of all our mouths. When Mr. Jonathan Fowler came to the witness stand, he told the court how they'd been talking on a dating website, but the day he met her for the first time, she was with her husband. Oh my.
He was there?
Yes.
So how did the sexual relationship start with Miss McKini?
Me and Miss McKinley been having sex.
It's Miss McKini.
Oh, Miss McKinley.
You don't even know her last name?
Me and Miss McKinley been having sex the whole 2016.
You say you're in a year-long affair.
I met Miss McKinley the ending of... I met her the ending of 2015 going to 2016.
All the odds are against Ms. McKini, or shall I say Ms. McKinley, and Mr. Fowler by extension. Ms. McKini told Mr. Fowler that she wasn't in any relationship at that moment, and they went on to be intimate for an entire year without protection. In the middle of all this, the funniest thing happens.
What did she tell you exactly?
That she's pregnant and she's ready to give birth.
So who did she say the father was?
She didn't tell me
I
nothing.
said it was complicated.
I believe it was complicated because, like I said,
I was back and forth with him and him.
That sex
back
tape
and forth.
was April 9th, and Amira was born April 9th.
Did that math add up?
No.
So now, is Fowler the daddy or not? Ms. McKini tries to explain her conception date and the B-day the baby was born to the court. She tries to link it to who she was intimate with at that particular time. As it would turn out, she was off and on with both men throughout that period. Woo.
So now take me to the birth. When Amira was born, where were you? Were you there?
I was present.
You were?
Yes, I was, Your Honor.
And did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I did not.
I refused to
let him sign it.
I said no because Amira didn't look like me. That's why I said
that too.
Why did you refuse?
Because since we're married and I get public assistance, they're gonna try to hit him with child support.
But you all were legally married. So why would he have to be on the hook for child support if you're legally married?
I didn't want him to sign a birth certificate.
Complicated as it is, Fowler has not even stated anything about being interested in the baby, whether or not it ends up being his. Mr. Brown, however, has done an entire experiment to prove to the court that Amira is not his baby. This was the nature of his experiment.
You said you immediately had doubts.
Yeah, when I looked at Amira, I said, hey, when I was born, I was pale. But wait, look at her lip. Why does her lip look so fat? That's not my lip. My lip does not look like that. Oh, no, it does not. So from that time in, I put it in my head, I'm like, wait, okay, if she's not mine, then she gotta be Mr. Jonathan's child, because she started looking more and more like him. And then you had people inboxing her saying, oh, that's not your husband's baby.
Oh, he's not finished yet. He goes on to say that it looks like she has his deceased father's head shape, but when she smiles without teeth, she undoubtedly looks like Mr. Fowler.
Without no teeth, she has his face. I see it myself every day, so I know I'm not just going crazy and saying, oh, this is not my child. No.
You have done a full scientific study on this.
I sure have.
And you know, I believe you because I could tell in the beginning of your testimony that it was bothering you. I can see how much it's been weighing on you.
What a guy. However, in a very funny twist, we see that Ms. McKini is pregnant again, and this time Mr. Brown believes it is his child. The court is shocked, confused, as it looks like Mr. Fowler is calling dibs on this particular baby. Here's the funny conversation that ensued between them.
Not only that, she's pregnant with my child now, so it's like
you said now you're having another baby?
Yes. I may be the father, right?
No, that's my child.
But let me ask you, could you be the father?
No.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. So, do you believe you are Amira's father?
No, I do not.
When's the last time you were intimate with Miss McKini?
2017 of April.
That's a whole year before Amira was born.
Right.
Well, oh well. What's going to happen now? Who is the daddy? There's just one way to find out, and that is why we are here in the first place. Finally, the results are out, and we get to end all of this drama.
Mr. Fowler, you are not the father.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's not the father, Mr. Brown.
Okay, I was like to say I apologize. I apologize.
I'll accept your apology.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Oh, did I say we'd end the drama? It looks like the drama is not going anywhere. What exactly was Ms. McKini's reaction? It's interesting to think about there being another man in the mix somehow. Now, here are the final results. Oh, you definitely did not see this coming one bit.
Mr. Brown, you are not the father. Ms. McKini, are you okay? Jerome, help her. I need to ask you, do you know who her father is?
No.
Well, I need to ask this respectfully. How many other possibilities are there? Do you remember?